Welcome back to the Morning Skate, episode 253. We kind of went on a hiatus. It wasn't that we weren't trying. We tried a couple days ago. We had some just some stuff, just wasn't working out. Then we had 4th of July, tons of things going on. But welcome back. If this is the first time you're listening, this is your host Ked. I'm joined by my co-host Brownie. Brownie, how's everything going, buddy?
I'm good. I'm psyched to be back. I feel like we haven't done this in quite some time. A lot's happened. We had some IT issues. I know people that know me aren't going to be surprised. It was on my end. And we're back. Spanky new setup and good to go.
Yeah, let's talk about the new setup, man, because this is something that's been in the works. You got yourself a fucking laptop.
I do. How do I say this without sounding like a complete douche? I'm very happy with the laptop I have, but it's not the laptop I wanted.
Okay. That's fair. But hey, listen, dude, like you don't just buy yourself a Porsche when you're getting your first fucking car. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
yeah, you got to work your way up to it.
So I now have my own laptop. It's mine. No one else can use it. Well, I say that as a tough guy with no one else home right now.
And you and I have talked about this, by the way. If we can start hammering out some sponsors where we're getting some rev coming in for this podcast and shit, this shouldn't come as a shock to anybody who's listening to this podcast. All the money that we make on this podcast goes directly back into it. Having said that, if we can get a fucking big deal, you're gonna get the laptop you want. We've kind of been over that.
There's other things we could spend money on too.
Yeah, I know, but we got the mics. I would like my co-host to be, you know what I'm saying, dude.
I appreciate
we're gonna figure it out. But how was your 4th of July, man?
My 4th of July was a good time as always. We go down to the South Shore of Boston and the Irish Riviera, as it's known, and it's where the 3rd is the big night, not the 4th.
Okay.
Years and years ago, the 4th, they didn't want to compete with Boston and all the fireworks, so it was always on the 3rd. We have friends and family on Duxbury Beach, Duxbury Marshfield Beach, right above the Cape there. Excuse me. And we have the bonfires. The whole neighborhood chips in for the fireworks. I want to say it's pushing like $3,000 or $4,000 worth of fireworks every year. And I'm one of the 3 idiots that my responsibility for the last 10 or 15 years has been to light them off. So we were at another house. I left everyone to walk down to go light them off. They told me I came walking out of the gloom of sunset and the bonfires like a WWE entrance, which my choice would have been Mankind's Music, the car crash,
the pyro.
And we lit them off. We all, like we said every year, 10-10, 1 and 2. Everything was intact. And as always, one idiot brought Fireball when we said we weren't going to drink any hard alcohol, and it is what it is. It takes me a little longer to recover from these nights than it used to.
No, I
it was good. It was good 4th. We had fun time. What'd you do?
I didn't see a single firework, which I'm kind of over the whole firework gang. I think I'm at the age now where I need to be lighting them. Otherwise, I'm not interested.
That's fair.
Much like you, I celebrated hard on the 3rd, took the 4th off, watched The Boys. You and I talked about it before the show started. Amazon Prime, check it out if you haven't seen it. But went to my neighbor's, had a fucking sick barbecue, went swimming. He got this fucking side-by-side, so like I'm looking for a side-by-side bad. But yeah, we had a good time. Went swimming. It's like a UTV. It's an off-road vehicle.
Oh.
It's like
4 seats like a car.
The best way to it's like a small car or a big 4-wheeler that's enclosed.
Gotcha.
But yeah, dude, it was good. Hung out with my buddy Dakota for a bit. Just trying to keep it clean. We got a big bachelor party coming up next weekend. So like I'm really trying to booze just once a week. And I think you and I probably have this conversation. As you get older, it's really hard to do that because if you go out to lunch with a friend, you're going to have a beer. If you go out to dinner, you're going to have a beer. If you go play recreational sports, you're going to have a beer. And then before you know it, you're drinking every day of the week and you're like, why is this happening right now?
Yep.
So I'm trying to simmer it down to 1 day a week. Although this weekend we're going to Long Island. We got a beach house in Mastic Beach. So like that.
This is the bachelor party, yeah?
It's a bachelor party. And I think Kira's going to come hang out. Shout out to her, Morning Skate OG. But yeah, it should be good. But we have a ton to talk about.
Wait, do you go to a bachelor party in or on Long Island? How's that work?
I've never been. I can let you know.
Isn't that a whole thing with Long Island? They say you're either in or on. I don't remember which way you're supposed to say.
My neighbor and I actually have like this thing where I have a neighbor, and then whether you call it up the road or down the road, we have another neighbor who comes and hangs out. And then, so it's always an argument whether or not he lives up the road or down the road, which is, this has been going on for like 5 years. Like, and every time a new person comes over, we explain it to them, and they're like, "You guys are so fucking stupid."
Yeah, I get that a lot.
So fucking stupid, dude. When we get to Heroes and Zeros, remind me to tell you the story of this goldfish.
A goldfish?
A goldfish. I almost had a fucking episode in PetSmart, dude. But that's where we are. Let's just get into it. Mea culpas. Brownie, get ready.
Hi, this is Mea Culpa, and I'm here to introduce the Morning Skates Mea Culpas with Ked and Brownie.
All right, again, if you're a new listener, Mea culpas, we just kind of go over everything, that we fucked up the week before. So,
do you anticipate a lot of new listeners? Is that why you're explaining?
Man, I went on Facebook today, and all of our posts, you can click on it, and if like somebody likes it but hasn't followed your page, you invite them. So I must have invited like 1,000 people to like our show.
Oh, nice.
So we'll see.
All right, so and the reason there's a voice to Mea culpas is because when I first mentioned it to Ked that we got to start doing Mea culpas, he thought it was a stripper. And he was like, is there some hot chick named Mea culpa? And then we found a Mea culpa to be the voice of Mea culpas. So there you go, full circle.
Still haven't met her yet, though.
Yeah. Well, I only communicated with her via email. So back to Mea culpas. Either we've been doing well, or it's been so long since we recorded a podcast, the few people that still give me shit for everything we get wrong have forgotten about it. So there was only one. And this was more not so much a correction as more of a additional shout out. So we talked about when I was up in Toronto for the hockey tournament, the captain of the team I play for, or one of the teams I play for, Johnny D, the D stands for Donkey Dick. He 67 years old, played 5 games over 3 days or something. But I found out the last game he played up in Toronto, he filled in on another team after we were eliminated. He played with borrowed gear, borrowed sticks, and borrowed skates because his gear was already in the van on the way home. The skates were so big, he had to ball up socks and put them in the toe. Can you imagine?
I think Panarin, like growing up, he was so poor that his grandparents, the skates that they bought him, he put shoes on inside of the skate.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. But when you're 67 years old playing in a beer league tournament, it's a little different than escaping the oppressive regime of whatever Russia, right? Yeah. So he played with. So if you said to me, "Hey, I forgot my jersey. You got a white jersey." It'll take me a good 10 minutes to feel comfortable wearing someone else's jersey. I can't imagine everything else.
I don't think I would do that unless there was something seriously in it for me, like a championship, and I knew we were going to win. And I didn't have to like perform that well. I would do it. Other than
they really the guys really needed you or something, but all that and skates on top of it, like it's not your cut, it's not your radius, the edge. I mean, geez, Louise.
The only time I've ever done that was like playing goalie, like when you borrow your buddy's gear and you put it on, and you just
skated out. And from what I was told, he had a pretty good game. So shout out to him, and that was it. That was the only thing.
That was it. Boys are buzzing. Right,
but it's still pretty something. That's remarkable.
Well, I think we are almost 10 minutes into the show, and I don't think we fucked anything up quite yet. So we're doing good. NHL news. Here we go. All right, NHL in the news. Whew, let's get her going. First things first. This was kind of I would have thought Barry Trotz was going to Winnipeg. I think if you would have asked anybody that was going to happen, he turned it down. He was offered free beer for life and other amenities from local Winnipeg companies. He's going to take the year off from coaching. According to the reports, wants to spend more time with his family. I'm kind of surprised. But at the same time, Winnipeg's not really like a big playoff like contender right now. So maybe that had something to do with it.
Do you think that Trotz maybe looked at that roster and was like, yeah, maybe.
I mean, because if that's a really good team, I don't think he's turning that down.
Yeah. Well, reportedly he turned down the Bruins and the Flyers also.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to the Bruins and the Flyers here in a little bit.
Yeah. That's called foreshadowing.
After they got shut down by Trotz and Tocchet, the Jets have the new coach. Rick Bowness was named head coach on Friday, left the Stars. Now he's in Winnipeg. I literally just talked to Fink, and I wish I would have asked him what he thought about this.
Based on Finkel's posts, he's like, well, I think he's thrilled that he's not in Dallas anymore.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of Fink, can I detour us for a moment?
Yeah, detour.
So,
what do you think?
For those that don't know, Fink is our Dallas Stars writer. He covers all Texas hockey, and he also has adopted a Finnish team. Are you aware of this?
I heard about this, yes.
So it's a Finnish team pronounced Ilves. And I told Fink I'd pump it up a little bit. He has been following them and writing about them. And his own Texas hockey podcast called What a Hockey. They're gonna go to Finland and record. And the team was reached out and was like, can't wait to have you come here. So good job, Fink.
What an experience, huh?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I just wanted to give him a little love there to our boy Fink.
I love that. Well, Bonus is in Winnipeg. We'll see how that ends up going. This was crazy. Disco wrote a blog about this. He's our Caps guy. Ovechkin signed a one-day contract with the Dynamo Moscow, which is a football or soccer team, depending on where you're from. And he scored a goal, which was wild. And he laid somebody out.
Wow.
It was kind of funny
against a team full of bloggers. So it wasn't like these are world star athletes.
What do you mean? Oh, that wasn't like a team he was playing against?
No, it's quote unquote a friendly match, which means it's like a PR thing. It's like the mini one-on-ones in between
that's
periods.
Way less cool. I thought he was playing against legit soccer.
No, and he was playing against a team full of bloggers. And like I said in the sheet, it looked like when Putin played hockey. They were like, "Go, him." I mean, listen, he scored the goal, which means he could hit a soccer net with a soccer ball. So
it was a nice
on
touch.
Him.
It was a nice touch.
Soccer nets are pretty fucking big, guy. So it was a PR stunt, but still good for him. And I give him all credit. He wore number 3 in honor of his dad, who was a semi-pro soccer player. So good on him. But to call him the next, second coming of Ronaldo is a little much.
And if you kind of think about it, where he did score that goal, kind of right around where he scores on the power play.
Yeah. Well, you think? I think that was a coincidence.
But shout out to Disco, good blog. Chicago Blackhawks have hired Luke Richardson as their new head coach. He played over 1,400 games in the NHL with stops in Toronto, Edmonton, Philadelphia, Columbus, Tampa, and Ottawa. The Lee Stepniak. He can buy out 201 points in 2,055 penalty minutes in a 21-year pro career. He's been coaching since the 2009-10 season as an assistant at the NHL level with a 4-year stint as a head coach of the Binghamton Senators. This will be his first time as a full-time head coach there. I feel like Chicago's kind of been in shambles with head coaches since Quenneville left.
Chicago's been in shambles, period.
Yeah,
for more than just a coaching. But I think it's good to see a guy get, instead of the recycle, I like to see these new guys getting jobs, fresh voice, fresh view, as great a coach as Trotz is, do you really, he might have made a difference. Do you really think Bonus is going to make a difference in Winnipeg? He's a great guy, but
it's a good point.
So
need some new fresh blood out there.
Some youth.
This is kind of crazy. So Florida.
Speaking of coaching,
yeah. So their coach last year was Andrew Burnett. He was a finalist for the Jack Adams, which was the NHL's best coach. He was let go in favor of Paul Maurice. This is funny. I love how you put this in. No word yet on the validity of reports that Maurice was interviewed at a gentleman's club. That was a shout out to what happened in the playoffs. I really like Maurice. I think he's a great coach. I like how he sticks up for his guys. At the same time, I mean, Andrew Burnett, I think they scored the most goals in the history of the NHL.
Yep. A world, like a record-setting power play, but in the playoffs, you can't count on the power play.
His interviews in the playoffs, I think, is what made him leave.
Oh, when he talked about how the other team had
lost, dude. Yeah. He was lost.
At that point, he might have been like, "What the fuck? I've tried everything,"
Yeah, but if I'm on the Panthers, I'm watching my head coach take those interviews like that. I'm like, what the fuck? You want a guy?
Might have been like that. Florida Panthers might have been like that anyways, because that was a pretty veteran heavy team.
True, but
he's younger than a lot of the players, wasn't he? Isn't he very young?
I don't think he's that young.
Oh, it's not like we don't have the world information at our fingertips here.
But yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of surprised about it because I know it was Coach Q's team. He left, but like somebody still had to steer the ship for a majority of that season. So I don't know. If I'm a team, I would take a shot on him. You know what I mean? Like, what's the worst that's going to happen?
He's 48. He's older than I thought he was. I thought he was like 35 for some reason.
Fair enough. Hockey Canada. Oh boy.
Yep.
Minister of Sport Pascal Saint-Onge has announced that the Canadian government is freezing funding for the organization until it signs with the new federal agency that has power to review and investigate abuse complaints and issue sanctions for inappropriate behavior. This is in response to an allegation of a young woman who says she was sexually assaulted in a hotel room by 8 players June 2018. The case was settled out of court, but the current governing body of Hockey Canada is now required to have the players involved with in the suit cooperate with third-party investigators. It's a lack of transparency within the organization, which has led for these changes, as Hockey Canada has reportedly had 1 to 2 sexual assault allegations per year for the last 5 to 6 years, per a member of Parliament, Michelle Ferrier, or Ferrier probably. On Tuesday, Scotiabank announced it was pausing its sponsorship with Hockey Canada in response to the group's handling of the alleged sexual assault.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's a tough look. You know, I mean, I hope it's all unfounded, but it doesn't sound like it. And with the history of these assaults on these players and the players not having to cooperate with investigators, it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, you listen, you can skate and play hockey. Doesn't make you above conducting yourself like a decent human.
100%. It's kind of like the boys, dude. It's like Hockey Canada is like the superheroes of Canada. You can't be doing that shit.
The Vaughn Corporation.
Brendan Shanahan, the Leafs players, marched in the Toronto Pride Parade, and Shanny shot off his arm with a football throw to the roof of the triple decker. I'm sure we'll talk about Brendan Shanahan a little bit. What a legend he was.
That's why I put it in. Yeah.
Buffalo re-signed Craig Anderson to 1 year, $1.5 million contract. I like this. I think
this
Anderson
is smart play.
Yeah, he played well enough in Buffalo, and you can tell he's beloved there by his teammates. So
is the kid from Northeastern? He's got 1 more year at Northeastern, right? Levy?
I think so, yeah.
So
I think it's
depending on when Northeastern season ends, he can hop in, you know, like Cale Makar did after UMass's run. So yeah, Buffalo's gonna be good, I think, in a few years.
Philly, they got Torts. Now they should have gotten Torts a long time ago.
It seems like a no-brainer.
It's similar. I'm almost positive that when Torts left the Rangers, AB came in, and now AB's leaving the Flyers, and Torts is coming in.
You think that's his move? He just follows AV around and he's like, I know specifically how to fix this guy's fuck ups.
When the Philadelphia Flyers signed Alain Vigneault, I remember thinking, like, this is against everything in their identity as a hockey franchise organization. Everything that they've done throughout the history of their franchise, Alain Vigneault was literally the exact opposite. This guy fits their image, like, through and through. Cam Atkinson was like, he was super pumped. Brandon Dubinsky.
I just put this in because this was hilarious to me.
Yeah, prayers up to the NHL Flyers players with a picture of Torts in his ear when he sadly stared at the ice. I think this is going to be good for the Flyers. I think it'll make them more fun to watch.
Yeah, I think the Flyers are up against it. They have some issues internally with the whole Hextall and Bobby Clark, and then they had Hayes, everything that happened to Kevin Hayes with the injuries and his brother, and they had some underperforming players. And then Giroux leaves, and it's just a little bit of a free fall. But you get Torts in. Johnny Gaudreau, who's coming up in our list. I mean, if Gaudreau decides to go home, that's a shot in the arm. I mean, some things could happen. And like we've said for a long time on the podcast, that the NHL is better when the Flyers are relevant.
Easily.
No.
Easily.
So, yeah, Torts will sell some tickets, 100%. He'll put fans in the seats. So that'll give him a little bit of a leeway with the ownership group.
I would agree. CHL news. The Hamilton Bulldogs won this year's OHL championship, made it to the CHL finals after dispatching the WHL champion Oil Kings, and then oh my God.
Shawinigan.
Yep. Cataracts?
Cataracts, yep.
Yep, in overtime in the semis. The team is led by Anaheim prospect Mason McTavish, 3rd pick overall. Faced off against the St. John Sea Dogs, who are led by Islanders prospect William Dufour. The Sea
Look
Dogs
at
got
that
it done
stat line, dude. Look at his stat line for the season.
56 goals, 66, and 116 points in 66 games played in the regular season. Is that good?
Think he's going to be good with Barzal? What do you think?
We'll see. The Sea Dogs got it done and won the CHL Memorial Cup with the resounding 6-3 win over Hamilton. DeFore was named the MVP after going 7-1, 8 in 4 games played, finished the tourney with a +6. McTavish was the lone Bulldog that remained on one knee on the ice to watch the Sea Dogs get awarded the Memorial Cup.
Okay, so I put that part in about McTavish because I don't think it was the Hardo move. I think it was legit because he looked legitimately upset. And if I'm Anaheim, right? Is that Anaheim has his rights?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If I'm Anaheim, that's what I want to see from a future Duck, is that he stayed out there, watched it, and burned it into him to know what it takes. And that's like a gets left type move in my mind.
I think so.
So
yeah, no, 100%.
Sounds like they got a good one. Is he Craig McTavish's son?
I don't know.
Yeah. Again, we could look it up.
I think McTavish actually just got hired on with St. Louis.
Yeah, he did as an assistant.
He's joining chief,
Yeah, he took over for Montgomery.
Carolina has given Ethan Bear permission to talk to other teams. According to reports, Carolina still wants to sign Bear, but the two sides are not close on an agreement. I also saw Neo Niederreiter, Vincent Trocheck. They're both heading to free agency.
You know who's rumored to be in on Trocheck, right?
The Rangers, I think.
No, the Bruins. The article was, can a Prius and a Ferrari coexist? Because the whole thing with him and Marchand.
And Tony DeAngelo. So it kind of seems like things are kind of unraveling there in Carolina.
Carolina, maybe. But I put this in, though, about because I feel like as much as, listen, sorry to Mike Wood, we do make fun of Carolina quite a bit. But this is a smart way. If you have an RFA, and granted, again, for the millionth time, you and I are not front office people, coaches. We're two idiots in front of cameras. Yeah, okay, and you agree. If you're that far apart with an RFA, why not say go see what's out there? Because you have the right to match. It's like all cards on the table. Ethan, we want you to stay. We have our number. You have your number. There's a pretty big gap. We don't want this to get acrimonious. Go see what the open market is, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
And he didn't play at all. And he played quite a bit in Edmonton. So
yeah,
hopefully he.
But I think that's a good way to handle it.
Yeah. So. I'm interested to see who leaves and stays for Carolina.
Yeah,
it'd be a real shame to see everybody leave that team. Calgary admits the rumors that Johnny Hockey has agreed in principle to a new long-term deal with the Flames. Gaudreau's agent tweeted, "There's no truth to it," as Alberto waits to see what happens. Flames have made it clear they want Gaudreau back and have offered him 8 years at 9.5, but reports are Gaudreau's camp has not responded yet. Per his agent, this is not about money. It's about where Gaudreau wants to work and live and chase a Stanley Cup for the next 7 to 8 years. It's not a good look. And didn't their GM or assistant GM come out earlier this year and was like, yeah, Johnny Gaudreau is going to be back? I'm pretty sure
that's what started all this.
Yeah. So it doesn't sound it. I saw Philly and I saw New Jersey were like the teams that are really going to be pushing for Johnny Hockey.
Well, that's where he's from, that area. But I know he's very, very tight with Kevin Hayes.
True, but if he's from that area, him and Jack Hughes would look pretty good on a line together.
Yeah. And then you get the whole sports part of it too.
Yeah.
You know.
So we will see. T's and P's, rest in peace to Calgary's longtime organist, Willie Jusen.
I think so.
He played the organ for the last 34 years at home games. Rest in peace. I hate seeing shit like this, dude. John and Matthew, rest in peace for the Rangers. Yeah, you hate to see it. I cannot believe that you put this into this doc. Infuriated. That we're even gonna
I like him. I like him, man. The guy scrapped it all the way in.
This is the last time this podcast will utter these two words, Carter Hutton.
I'm going to
called it a career after 235 games played in the NHL. Came out of UMass Lowell, played for Chicago, Nashville, St. Louis, Buffalo, and Arizona over his 10-year career, compiling a .908 save percentage, 2.76 goals against, 5 assists, 16 PIMs. Done. All right, moving on.
I'm going to get him to come on as a guest.
Oh, I would be fucking pissed. This was wild.
Yeah.
So the Tampa Bay Lightning traded Ryan McDonough to Nashville for Grant Mismash and Philip Myers. So
I put in the thing.
Was it Elliot Friedman?
I think so.
kind of broke it down, and what was going to happen is he had teams that he didn't want to go to. He had that no trade clause or whatever.
So he had a no trade, not a no movement, and that's a very
Right.
different thing in the NHL.
So essentially what they told Ryan McDonough is, hey, listen, like, you're going to pick the teams that we can trade you to, or we're going to put you on waivers, and Columbus has already agreed to take your contract.
Yep.
So that's why McDonough went to Nashville. I'm hoping karma comes around and bites them in the ass for what – I mean, McDonough he was so good for them. That completely, by the way, changes their team. Like, wholeheartedly.
Well, they think Sergachev can make the step to fill in.
Good luck. Good luck with
that.
I
agree. I'm glad to see this because I love McDonough and I hate Tampa Bay. So there's only like one other player on Tampa Bay that I root for at this point. So,
but at the same time, kind of a weird move for Nashville to go get Ryan McDonough because that's a whole lot of cap between him and Yossi.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to work. I mean, Nashville's been a playoff player, and he's going to be great in Nashville. Ryan McDonough is a hell of a hockey player. I think this is starting to kind of see, the turn of the tides there in Tampa. And one thing that I thought was interesting, and he put up a Facebook post or an Instagram post about it, and I kind of went into their profiles. Him and Patty Maroon became really, really, really tight during the time in Tampa there, which I didn't know about. So good luck to Captain America. Ryan McDonough, I think he's the most underrated defenseman in the game.
He, I agree with that. But the other thing that played a part in this is that the cap remained flat. It didn't increase. So Tampa was up against it. You remember Kucherov's shirt, with all his bullshit. Right. And, hey, everybody's got to pay. You want to dance, you got to pay the band.
Yep.
So,
but we'll see. AHL Chicago Wolves goalie Alex Lyon's been suspended for the first 2 games of the next season after flipping the double birds in the championship picture. After hanging a shutout on the Springfield Thunderbirds, it was a game suspension for each bird. In response to the entire front office, the Wolves tweeted out a picture of them celebrating the victory and supporting Lyon with their own double bird display. That's kind of cool.
Did you see this?
No.
Oh, it was great. So he did the double birds like, fuck you. It was great. I mean, it was emotion. You gotta still AHL. He's like 20, maybe 21, right? So he's still having fun. He hung a shutout. Good for him. He gets suspended for 2 games. So then the whole front office with is it the Calder Cup? I think it's the Calder Cup.
Yeah.
They all took a picture with the Calder Cup, and every single employee in the front office was flipping the double birds. So
I love that.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Vegas traded Evgeny Dadonov. Finally, if you remember, he was going to be traded, and then like the NHL was like, no.
They never. It was his no trade.
Right.
He didn't sign it.
Well, he went to Montreal for Shea Weber's contract. I think this kind of means Shea Weber's done, which sucks.
Yeah.
You remember that the Knights previously attempted to trade Dadonov to Anaheim, but the NHL Nixon trade has violated the no-trade list. When the trade was announced on Twitter, Anaheim retweeted with a "Are you sure?" reply. So we'll see. And then also Frank Saravelli, Riley Smith agreed to an extension, but the deal is not being announced due to cap tagging issues, which I don't know what that means, but
it means they're going to be over the cap if they say it now. They have to wait for the new fiscal year, I believe is what. But I love how Frank Saravelli's like, the deal can't be announced as he's announcing it.
Yeah, right.
It was unofficial,
Cool news. Mike Greer became the new GM of the San Jose Sharks. After 3 years at BU, Greer went on to a 14-year NHL career, Edmonton, Washington, Buffalo, and San Jose. He played 1,060 games, a line of 162, 221, 383 with 510 PIMs. He chipped in with another 101 playoff games, known as a smart defensive player, played all 200 feet, banged bodies. He was a gamer. Yep. Growing up in Holliston, Mass., suburb of Boston, Greer's father, Bobby, held various positions with the Patriots for 2 decades, and his older brother, Chris, is currently the GM of the Miami Dolphins. Greer is the first Black GM in NHL history.
Good for him.
Also, he was with the Rangers organization for a little bit. Chris Drury came out with a thing today saying, hey, congratulations, he's going to be great.
Well, they played together in Buffalo, I think, right?
Yeah. Cool. I like this.
Yeah.
I like this.
Mike Greer is always one of those guys that he played the game so smart, and he played with effort and pace, and he did all the little things.
Would back it up too. Yeah. He was cool. So congratulations to him. Los Angeles Kings traded their first round pick and University of Minnesota defenseman Brock Faber to Minnesota for the rights of Kevin Fiala.
Yeah, the Kings needed help, and the Minnesota was psyched to get Brock Faber back as part of this deal.
I mean, I'd be pumped about the first round pick. Is Kevin Fiala that good?
Kings think, though.
All right, we'll wait and see. Brownie, take it away.
So the Bruins have hired Jim Montgomery as their 29th coach in team history. Montgomery grew up outside of Montreal and played for the University of Maine, where, if you remember, the old Yankees remember, his third period hat trick in his senior year, his captain year, propelled Maine to the national championship. Lake Superior State, I believe. Montgomery, that's a mea culpa, probably. Montgomery broke into the NHL in '93 with St. Louis.
It might not be, because my old hockey coach, he won he won a national championship for Lake Superior State. He scored the game-winning goal. They were nasty. They've sucked for years, but
Montgomery scored a natural hat trick in the third period to come back to win.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the team, because back then that team was fucking good.
He broke into the NHL in '93 with St. Louis and compiled a 12-year career with stops in Montreal, Philly, San Jose, and Dallas. As a head coach, he won 2 championships in the USHL before moving on to the college ranks, bringing home a national championship as the head coach of the University of Denver. He joined the Dallas Stars as head coach and went 63-40-10 over 2 seasons before voluntarily stepping away and checking himself into rehab for alcohol issues. Since his comeback, he has worked as assistant coach for St. Louis and brings to Boston a reputation as a winner who works well with veterans while not being too hard on the younger players. David Perron, and listen, if you don't think I'm pumped about this guy, this just shows you that I'm quoting this fucking rat. David Perron said it best when the news broke, quote, "Congrats, Monty. Great pickup by the Bruins. Appreciated by everybody around the room." So Montgomery is basically a winner at every stop, and there's been a lot of stuff here on like Bruins social media, not the Bruins team, just, in and around, about this guy's a drunk. Listen, fuck off with all that noise. The guy stepped away. He did what's right. He did what's right for himself and his family, and everybody deserves another chance like that.
Yeah. I think it's kind of telling that Jake DeBrusk rescinded his trade request almost immediately afterward.
That fucking guy.
Well, that just shows it, though.
Go, because Bruce Cassidy was mean to him. Fuck off.
Yep. Yeah, but I get the vibe that was a lot of the feelings. And if Krejci comes back,
Krejci could come back. We'll get to that in the Bruins talk.
Patrice Bergeron comes back.
Well, Bergeron is coming back.
100%.
He's on vacation, but yeah, he says he's coming back for. I think he said everybody thinks it's going to be 1, but it could be 2 years. He hasn't had a press conference yet.
I think that this is very telling about Bruce Cassidy losing the room.
All I can say is about Jim Montgomery, the best compliment I can pay him, and I hope to have him on the podcast someday, and I hope to root him on for years. The best thing I can say about him at this juncture, besides everything I already said, he's not David Quinn.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. Oh my God, I was so hoping that was going to happen.
Well, supposedly they were the 2 finalists.
I was so pumped. And you want to know what? The balls that you have to be a head coach in the National Hockey League on a team that potentially can win a Stanley Cup and stepping away from that, no matter what the fuck's going on in your life.
Yep.
That takes some fucking cojones, dude.
He did what's right for him and his family. So
yeah. I'm pumped about this. Hal is fucking through the moon. So Vancouver Canucks GM Patrick Alvin announced on Friday that the club has agreed to terms with right winger Brock Besser on a 3-year contract for $6.65 million a year. I love Brock Besser. I think this is a great deal.
I feel like that's a great deal for Vancouver with what he does.
He's good. He's definitely very, very good for him. So, here we go.
Hold on. Just wait. You got to give the disclaimer. Maz, if you're listening to the podcast, take off your pants right now and get ready.
Pavel Datsyuk has called it a career and announced his retirement. After 5 years playing in Russia, Datsyuk burst onto the scene in Detroit, where he dominated for 14 years before returning to the KHL for the last 5 seasons. NHL numbers are Hall of Fame worthy. 953 games played, 314-604 for 918, just under a point per game, with 228 penalty minutes, and he ended the regular season at a plus 249. Only had a single dash season, and he was only -2. Crazy. He had 157 games played in playoffs, going 42-71 for 113 with 55 penalty minutes. They call him the Magic Man. He won 4 consecutive Lady Byng trophies. I hate that. With 3 Selke trophies. I like that. To go along with 2 Stanley Cups. Love it. He was also part of the Triple Gold Club as he won World Juniors in 2012, captain Russia team to the Olympic gold in 2018. The best story is
great, dude.
Is Detroit had him on the radar when they went to scout a defenseman on another team, and someone told them, watch the little guy on the other team. The Detroit scouting team kept an eye on him, and when they went to scout him a third time in the summer of 1997, a storm grounded the plane. The plane was the plane that was grounded also had a scout in Calgary on it, and due to the storm, the rumor is the only NHL team that saw him play was Detroit, who took him 171st in the 1998 NHL draft. That's late in the 6th round.
Isn't that crazy?
I bet they're happy about it, right?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. But well, I mean, Detroit was early in on all the Russians back then too. But yeah, just what a player this guy was.
Yeah,
you know?
He was incredible. Kind of sticking with Russia, 25-year-old Russian star goalie Ivan Fedotov, Philadelphia guy, has been detained in Russia for evasion of mandatory military service. According to his lawyer, he was hospitalized for being injected with unknown substances by force. This comes on the heels of Fedotov signing a $1.1 million deal with Philadelphia after leaving the SKA team based in Moscow. He reportedly was sent to the Arctic naval base Severomorsk in preparation to fight in Ukraine. Sheesh.
So this guy wanted to leave his team, which is basically the Russian Red Army team. Wanted to leave his team, sign with Philly, signed the deal, and as he was preparing to depart Russia, he was grabbed and shot up against his will and sent to this naval base. And no one knows where he is at this point.
That's fucking crazy.
That's Russia, man.
That's like Mogilny shit. Well, it's 2021. This is 2022.
2022.
Losing my fastball. Boy, talk about just a fucking roller coaster of emotions that is. Like, I just signed $1.1 million to go play in the United States. I got my Gucci belt on. I'm going to the
think
airport.
about it.
Damn.
For a goalie, Philly, it's not a bad call because they can't seem to do anything right with net. No. So, Carter Hart's still, I don't think, the answer.
That's fucking nuts, dude.
So
I'm pretty sure Russia still has Brittany Griner, don't they?
Yeah. Yep.
It's fucked up over there, man. The Hockey Hall of Fame announced the nominees for this year: Daniel and Henrik Sedin, Roberto Luongo, Daniel Alfredsson, Rika Salinen, and Herb Carnegie. We all know about the NHLers, but Salinen is a Finnish legend in the women's game. She played 30 years at the international level, posting a line of 63, 59, 123, and 81 games played. She also helped Finland secure a pair of bronze medals in 4 Olympic Games. Carnegie was elected
posthumously after he died.
Okay. In the Builders category. He was of Jamaican descent, spent his career in the Quebec Province League and the Quebec Senior League. God damn. He did a tryout with the Rangers in 1948, 10 years before Willie O'Ree broke the color barrier. And O'Ree said that Carnegie should have been the first player color to make the NHL. Notable omissions: Mogilny, Curtis Joseph, Rod the Bod, JR, and Keith Tkachuk. Now, McGillney's been eligible for a while. Have these other guys also been eligible for a while?
Yeah. But out of those listed people that we talked about afterwards, McGillney's got to be the number one in my mind because of what he went through to come play.
There's a documentary, I forget what the fuck it's called, but search Alex Mogilny Russian defect on YouTube. It's like an hour and 20 minutes. It'll blow your fucking mind. It'll blow your mind. I don't get it. And like Daniel and Henrik Sedin, yeah, they're pretty good. Roberto, pretty good. Daniel Alfred. I mean, what did Daniel Alfredson ever do?
Oh, he put up the numbers, the longevity.
Did he ever win anything? He might have won a gold.
With Detroit, right? Didn't he win with Detroit when he went over to Detroit?
No, I completely forgot about that. He might have won a gold with Sweden when Henrik was there.
Yeah, he might have.
But like Keith Tkachuk not being in a Hall of Fame is kind of wild. I mean, all these names right here, I think they're all pretty. I don't know. NHL Awards. Have we not done this yet?
Dude, we haven't been on in a while.
All right. Well, the Vezina went to the Prince. Igor Shesterkin, not shocking.
Wait. Are you calling him the Prince or are people in New York calling him the Prince?
I've called him the Prince since he's gotten here because Hank's been the king.
Right.
But I doubt that. I don't know if they call him that.
I like it, though.
I do, too. I don't hate it at all. I mean, what a fucking year by that guy. Kept us in every game. It's shades of Henrik Lundqvist all over again. Fucking team that everybody thinks is sick, just with a really fucking good goalie. So
on the Heroes and Villains blog that I have coming out, spoiler, Igor is one of my Rangers I put on there. And I said, this is a bold statement. You ready for this?
Oh,
I said he may go down as the best Rangers goalie of all time.
If he wins some cups. It's just infuriating because Henrik Lundqvist was so fucking good, dude.
I think Igor might take it to a different level.
He might. I think it's just telling because if the Rangers had just an average goalie, they don't have the year that they had. They might not even make the fucking playoffs, dude. Like, that's how good he was. So, Cale Makar became the 5th defenseman to win the award within his first 3 years of the league, joining Erik Karlsson, Dennis Potvin, Bobby Orr, and that guy Adam Fox. Becomes the first Norris winner in franchise history for Colorado. And
Quebec.
he won, I don't think it's in here, but he won the Conn Smythe too.
Yeah, it's coming up. We have a whole Stanley Cup section.
Okay, we have a Stanley Cup section. Are these all announced already?
Yep.
Okay, so Moritz Seider won the Calder. I'm happy about that.
Yeah, he deserved it.
Yes.
I mean, if you weren't going to give it a Swayman, give it a Seider, I guess.
Somebody like posted a video of when he got drafted, and everybody was like, "Whoa!" And even him.
I remember that they were making fun of him. They were making fun of Detroit. Yeah,
the eyes are playing. Hart Trophy, most valuable player goes to your boy, your favorite player, Austin Matthews. The Ted Lindsay Award also went to Austin Matthews. He's now the second American-born player to win this award following Patrick Kane. Keenan Thompson with the chirp of the ceremony after Matthews won the awards. Nice to see the Leafs win something in June.
That was a great, and that was not planned because the whole audience was like, "Whoa!"
Has the GM of the year been announced?
No.
Okay, so Drury for the Rangers, Brisebois for the Lightning, and Sakic for Colorado. Those are the nominees. I'm assuming Sakic will win because they won the Cup.
Yeah, I feel like they do this one after the Stanley Cup, so it would be Sakic, I would say. But I would go Sakic, Drury, Brisebois in that order.
Okay. And we already did these awards, so.
Yep. And then you see in there the Unrivaled.
Yeah, so you were just talking about Joe Sakic. This Unrivaled documentary was fucking lights out. If you get a chance, there's a documentary called I think it was called The Russian Five. Isn't that the one that kind of just came out? We had the guy on, which was also really good. And this one was kind of similar, but it dove a little bit more into the rivalry between the Avs and the Red Wings, more than just it being a Russian thing.
Yeah,
this was fucking awesome. Like, it's crazy because like every once in a while you'll see a rivalry. I don't. Oh, there's your notes.
Yeah.
Every once in a while you see the rivalry in the NHL, whether it's I don't know, like Tampa and Florida, Boston Canadians had a little bit of a thing there when like Komisarek and Lucic was there. In my opinion, at least since I've been alive, this is the number one rivalry easily compared to any other thing. And like I was young, but like I was old enough to remember how crazy this shit was.
It's funny is I remember these games and I remember watching because I got no skin in the game, and I didn't like Claude Lemieux, so I was much more on the side of Detroit because I always liked Yzerman, but I forgot about most of this, like thinking back. Yeah. This was the kind of game like it would be like a Wednesday. And listen, the National Hockey League was no dummy about it. All these games were prime time, game of the week stuff.
I don't think a game has ever been looked at it like this since the most recent one I can remember was Rangers Capitals after the Panarin thing. Right. I think everybody thought there was going to be blood that night.
And that's what this was.
I don't really remember the Bertuzzi Moore thing. I don't remember if there was like payback there. I remember that incident happening. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But I don't remember like the lead up being like, holy shit, we're going to see tables, ladders, and chairs.
Right. Nice reference.
Yeah. Thank you. A note from me that I thought was kind of crazy was Chris Draper got traded for $1. I had no idea about that. Yeah. Huge part of the grind line.
Yeah.
It was cool because like fucking Darren McCarty, he's been on the pod. He is who he is, dude. Like, he doesn't pretend like he's anything else. Like that guy's fucking nails. And he's so fucking edgy, and he is who he is. And then you have Claude Lemieux. It was hilarious because like Claude's like a little bit more well put together, like dressed nice.
Oh, he's an agent now too.
Right. And then you put on the same couch, you have Darren McCarty with like a fucking mohawk, and it was incredible. Like it was so well done. It was so put together. I like how they called out a numerous things where like they talked about the Draper thing for a while. They talked about how Lemieux and Shanahan and how Lemieux named his Brendan Lemieux after Brendan Shanahan.
Yep. And how Shanahan didn't want to admit that he was friends with Lemieux.
Right. And then the first time you saw Lemieux on the ice, he's like, you're a loser. You've never won anything in your life. And he's like, yeah, the only way that we're going to get back at them is to be as savage as they are. The Konstantinov thing was, I thought that was very well put together.
The whole Konstantinov, I remember that doctor giving press conferences. That was national.
I don't remember news. That's fucking
That was
crazy.
national news. Yeah.
And like, and I don't think they're trying to like overstate it or whatever. Like, he would have been one of the best defensemen ever to play, probably. Like, that's the way that they talk about. Like, not only could he kind of put up, and like you saw so many clips of him joining the Rush and like scoring big goals in the playoffs and shit. But he was a hammer you, dude. Like, he would fuck you up. He was almost like Darius Kasparaitis, but like a boulder.
But he had much more skill than Kasparaitis.
Yeah, and yes. But I thought that was cool. The Colorado coach, what the fuck is Crawford? Fucking going at Scotty Bowman and like the picture.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
That was wild. I thought it was cool.
And the whole part where he said about his dentist, he autographed a picture for his dentist because it showed all the dental work.
And I thought the trainer, like having the Detroit trainer, I thought was really cool. Like when he was able to list off
that was talk about stones. Chris Draper got his face caved in and walked off and kept walking until he passed out because he didn't want to get backboarded.
Right.
Nowadays that trainer would probably lose his license for allowing that guy to walk off.
Oh yeah. But what notes did you have? Those were like the biggest ones for me. That and just like Sakic and Yzerman are just fucking beauties, dude. Like,
so the way it started, you turn on.
One more thing, Adam Foote. I really enjoyed Adam Foote.
Adam Foote's nails. I forgot how much I liked him.
So I thought he was going to be like
his nose is all like that. Yeah.
I thought he was going to be like, I always visioned him as like a grumpy dickhead. And like, he didn't really come off that way. Like he came off as like a strong presence, but he didn't come off like as an asshole. And I always thought he was an asshole. So like, that was kind of cool.
So to me, I was making notes. I kept pausing. I watched it twice, right? The first time I just watched it. The second time I watched it, I was making notes. But I mean, everything was perfect about it. The black and white pictures, the close-ups of the guys, you can see like Adam Foote's nose, all the scars. They came in with Chemical Brothers, that old song, Block, Rock, and Beats, which was just great, right? And it's all like real tight shots, and then they pull out. Stevie Yzerman looks like Robert De Niro playing Steve Yzerman.
Right.
In those close-ups. It was crazy. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's got presence.
Dude,
you know
what a good-looking guy he was back in the day, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
and Draper,
big time.
Can you see Draper's face still has like a dip in it? Where are we? All right, so this is the other stuff I had.
I have one more. That journalist. Could you imagine somebody writing that article nowadays?
Absolutely, I can imagine that.
Oh, I don't know. That was bad, dude.
Well, that sold papers then. It gets clicks now. It's the same kind of thing. It's got
but I've never seen a reporter like I would envision that guy would have a blue check mark like back then. Yeah. And like the shit he was saying about Claude Lemieux, it was like, whoo. It was
good. So the Nordique sold for $75 million in 1995. That's insane to me. So Detroit, I forgot the game that Patrick Waugh took himself out in Montreal was against Detroit.
Yep.
Do you remember that? That was crazy. And that whole thing.
That was cool. Was it Mike Vernon who was talking and he said that he talked to Waugh before the game and Waugh was like, hey, I don't really want to. And he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. And the whole thing, Patrick Waugh, was all because Tremblay gave him that fucking smug look on the bench. And he walked past him. He gave him that smug look, and Raw took that and went, fuck you, and turned around and walked back in. Yeah, and then say what you want about Waugh.
Patrick Waugh was so fucking cool. Like that, I would want that guy as my goalie. Like I have that on
here. The way he plays, his attitude, that's the kind of guy you want in that.
His attitude, like the goalie leads the team out on the ice before every game, right? If that motherfucker's leading me out on the ice, I'm feeling pretty good about my chances. You know what I mean? Like he was just fucking nails.
We talked about Adam Foote's nose. I also like Burke with his, if it's 10 stitches or less, it was termed a shaving cut. And the Players Association back then agreed to that, which is just insane.
Another fucking awesome dude. Like he did the interview with the tie undone and shit. Like he has such
his whole thing with ties, right?
No.
He has to wear a tie. It's part of the contract. He refuses to tie it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because he's wearing the tie.
I love
Like when
that.
he's on TV and stuff, he has to wear a tie, and he just won't tie it. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
and back to
fantastic.
Patrick Waugh, the one another thing that I thought was cool. I forget who was getting interviewed, but there was a game where Patrick Waugh broke his stick and the puck went in. And the next day in practice, he cut off his stick and practiced the whole time with that, got off the ice, and he goes, that won't go in anymore. Like, that's
so
who I
never happened
fucking
again.
want in net, dude.
Exactly. I forgot how much I like Gary Thorne calling games.
Oh, my God. What did happen? He changes everything.
Yeah, and
he actually plays
do you
a
remember?
Huge role in that, because if you have fucking Sean McDonough and Ray Ferraro doing those games, I'm not
Ray
really
Ferraro would have talked over everything. Brian Engblom was the color guy. Remember Engblom had that huge mullet?
Yep.
Remember? Yeah, and he had
how
the big.
How good did Barry Melrose look, by the way?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's good to see Barry Melrose is riding that train right to the ground too. So when Patrick Waugh was running at he was, I forget who was going to jump on, but Shanahan just shucked foot and blew up Waugh. And then when Vernon and Waugh were fighting, they showed Shanahan laughing on the ice.
Yeah, because they said Mike Vernon was like the nicest dude ever.
Oh yeah.
And you could tell how fucked, and obviously it would be, but like when they were talking about Konstantinov, like Vernon was like fighting back tears talking about it and shit.
Yeah,
like that. It was just so well put together because none of it was fake. Like it was just 2 hours of fucking emotion.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to describe it. The stuff about Vlad, I remember the doctor reports. Like I said, I remember them showing him at the game and him trying, doing the fist when they bring him out on the ice. And I still remember to this day all the Washington players lining up to shake his hand, and I was still like, "Oh my God, that's so good,"
Yeah.
And all like little stuff, like Shanahan is out there with the shirt all the way down like this. He's got nothing underneath except for his chest hair. He's like, I'm a man. He's just
Shanahan
awesome.
was fucking cool, dude.
I used to have a Shanahan curve on a green stick that a couple of guys I played with fucking hated it. And they would try to break it. They would try to break it every time we played. Oh, I love Shanahan.
When he was on the Rangers, he fought Brashear because Brashear was running around, and Shanny's like, "Okay, let's fucking go, big fella." It was kind of more of a wrestling match, but the fact that like, I think it was who was on the call. It was a Kenny Albert. Somebody's on the call, and they're like, "And it's Brendan Shanahan," and we're like, "Whoa, like, all right, let's go." And they fucking squared right up too.
It's one of the best hockey. It's probably this might be the best hockey documentary I've ever seen.
It's definitely up there. It left me wanting so much more. Like, I wish it was like another 4 hours, like or an hour and a half, like docu-series.
Well, I wonder if it's by the amount of people that are talking about it and all the press it's getting, if they'll come out with a part 2 or something to go more into it. Maybe
it was good. Really, really good. I'm glad we talked about that because that was good stuff. All right, dump and change.
Okay. Totally shifting gears. Sue Bird has announced her retirement from basketball after the season. She did the beginning of the season farewell tour. I'd say she's on the Mount Rushmore, top 5 female basketball players all time.
I don't want to come off as a dick, but I could care less about women's basketball, man.
I know, but she's still like she's like Kobe retiring for the NBA. It's still
Liberty kind of had cool jerseys back in the day. I think they were like teal kind of jerseys. Who was the chick on Connecticut that would just hit threes? That was like her thing. She would just bang.
That's her. No. I think that's her.
Diana Taurasi. That's what.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Hammer 3 balls.
So have you seen this Dolly app thing?
I have not.
So the guys who work for me showed me, the young guys. It's basically, how do I describe it? You put in any words. Like you could say Kermit the Frog, and the only reason I know is because I saw this one. Kermit the Frog doing cocaine off a toilet. Okay. And it puts it into these computers and these graphic creators, and it makes these pictures of it. And you can do anything. It's like Mad Libs. It's the funniest thing. You can easily waste an hour doing this. Anything you want. We put in I'm trying to think. We put in Bigfoot surfing the Chicago River, and it created the graphics. Yeah.
That's kind of
pretty funny. Yeah. So that was that. So Josh Allen, the quarterback for the Bills, apparently he is obsessed with the D's Nuts games, and he spends all day, every day, trying to get people to fall for it so he can get them with it. Yeah, it's one of his things. All right, so this was a cool story. Former number 1 overall pick Mark Appel finally received a call-up from the Phillies after nearly a decade in the minor leagues in baseball. In 2021, he tweeted out the following. In 2013, I was drafted number 1. 5 years later, I was called, quote, the biggest bust in Major League Baseball history. Today, I'm working my way back, and I'm here to share the hard-earned lessons I've learned along the way. Last week, he tweeted out, completely overwhelmed. I have so many thoughts I want to share, but can't find the words, so I'll just say this. I'm thankful. Today, I get to play a game I love as a Major League Baseball player. Let's go. So this guy stuck with it. Good for him. I mean, I'm not a big baseball guy, but good for him. But I am a fan of this next cat, Jesse Winker. I don't know anything about him except for this clip I saw. He took on the entire Anaheim Angels dugout in a brawl. Did you see this?
Yeah, that was wild. Yeah.
Listen, if I was ever going to get a baseball shirt, it's this guy's. He took out everybody in the brawl, and then a fan named Sophie, who's like a diehard Seattle fan, ordered him a pizza to go through DoorDash to be delivered to the Anaheim Visitors Clubhouse. This story, and then she was tweeting out the updates from DoorDash. It was I was literally watching it. I was like, "This is unbelievable." And the guy's name, I thought I had the delivery driver's name on here somewhere.
Yes, Simranjit.
Oh, Simranjit. Yep. Okay. So this guy, Simranjit, was a delivery dash driver. He made it all the way to the gate. They wouldn't let him in, and she went out and was like tweeting at the Mariners, like social media people, all their promotional people. And finally, someone on the Mariners saw it, went down, let this guy in. He delivered it to Winker in the clubhouse. Winker then tweeted back at her, thanking her for the pizza. And apparently DoorDash has a cap on tips. So she got this driver's Venmo, and like all these Seattle fans gave him money, and he was like, I guess he's got a big family. This is like a part-time gig to make ends meet. So it was a really nice story all around.
That's cool.
Shout out to her, and that's Dump and Change.
Dump and Change. All right.
Rangers talk, buddy.
I don't have too much to talk about. They're connected to every fucking second line center out in the market.
They always are.
Navar, Scheifele, Trocheck, all of the above. It looks like Strome and Kopp are going to test free agency. We'll see what ends up happening there. It was funny when they had breakup day. Everybody kind of went in like their casual stuff, and Ryan Strome showed up with every piece of Rangers merch he possibly could. So
I think he wants to
see what happens there. Kratzov's coming back. I guess there was a report that Capo and the Rangers are close to getting something done. We'll see. I'm kind of up in the air. I don't really have too much to talk about with them. Just it's hard. We're going to talk about the Cup Finals here in a bit, and as the captain of the morning skate, I'm just going to get ahead of that one. Didn't watch anything. When the Rangers got eliminated, I was like, "Fuck this sport." So I saw like the post games and shit like that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens next year with the cap, and you know how they're going to kind of fight that stuff. I think getting Vitaly Kratzov on a 1 year, I think it's like $850 to one way. It's a good deal for a guy that might have some pretty good skill there. They just re-signed Julian Gauthier. I think they did that because it's easier to trade him now that he's signed. So we will see what happens there. They don't have a first-round pick. I think their first pick in the draft is like 60-something. So I don't know. It's been like a few years where you keep hearing Drew's going to kind of come up with this big, young, like trade where we're going to finally get a centerman, and maybe this is the year. Kirby Doc's name's also out there. It depends on what you're going to give up, but yeah, I mean, they have a ton of prospects. That's the thing. So we'll see. We'll see at the end of the day. Tell you this, if they go into next season with Filipino being the number 2 second center, I'm not going to be the happiest dude ever. So yeah, that's kind of what I got for Rangers. Now Bruins, we kind of already went over a few of them. Bergeron's back.
Bergeron's back. Kevin Weeks tweeted out and got the everybody got the little Sherwood in their pants when he's talking about Krejci possibly coming back, because it's like that's a verified source, you know.
What do you think?
I forget exactly how to say it, but he's like, keep an eye on, you know how he does those little teasers.
Yep.
He was like, keep an eye on this, David Krejci, you know, blah blah blah. He was in South Carolina because I think his wife has family there or something. I got a buddy in South Carolina. I texted him. I'm like, look out for David Krejci and get him to come back.
Dude, Weeksy's so easy to root for. Like you
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, he's great for the game.
And DeBrusk has rescinded his trade request. In my opinion, keep him for the first month while everybody's out. Everybody gets back. He starts putting up some numbers. Ship him out. He's on a good contract. If you quit once on your team, you're gonna quit again, right? And
not necessarily.
Oh, come on. Because Butchie was mean to him. Shut up. You're a professional.
Maybe.
He's not 18 or 19. He's like 25.
You say Bucci was mean to him, but like if Krejci comes back, Krejci did the exact same thing, except for he went to a different country.
Krejci's earned it.
I don't know, man. I think it's the same thing. I think it's the same fucking
thing. If he gives the effort, I'm all for it. But I don't see him continuing.
You liked him in the playoffs, didn't you?
Because he skated hard. If you give me effort, I'm on your side. It was like this when I coached. It was like this when I played. You start to glide, fuck off.
Another name that the Rangers were connected to that I just remembered, and I don't understand how this would get done ever just because of how their cap is, but Kadri was a name that was.
Dude, Kadri's linked to the Bruins too, and they're talking about him getting over $10 million a year.
Yeah, there ain't no. I mean, actually, he did put up a ton of points.
Kadri's playing great.
Yeah,
we'll get to him coming up too. So the Bruins do have 6 picks coming up in the draft, but listen, I gave up getting excited about draft picks after 2015. So that's what I got for the Bruins.
Really quick, I don't know if you have this on the top of your head. They drafted that Swedish little rat kid who can skate really good, either last year or the year. Yeah, either last year or the year before.
Fabian?
Yeah. Any update on him?
Fabian Lysell, he might. It depends on camp, right? And depends on how his game's developed. But I mean, let's play dream a little dream, and Krejci comes back. So you put Lysell with Bergeron and Marchand when everybody's healthy. Put them right up there at that number 1 spot. Let's see if you got the goods. You go Krejci, Hall, and
DeBrusque?
No. Who's the other winger? Pasternak. You go Krejci, Hall, and Pasternak. You got the third line of Charlie Coyle, Craig Smith. You put Hall there, and then you.
That actually doesn't sound bad at all.
Then you let 5 guys fight out for those bottom 3 spots. Maybe buy out Nick Foligno.
Yeah, but I wouldn't pencil that Lysell kid into the first line. But
I'd put him there to start and see what he does.
I get that. I doubt he'll fucking stick. It'd be cool if he did, but like, dude, being able to put Bergeron and Marchand on the line, and then Krejci and Pasternak on a different line, and then you have a guy like Taylor Hall also there. Then that third line of Coyle, Smith, and Fiala, like, it's a pretty good fucking team, dude. Your
Fiala
sucks, but it's still a pretty good team.
Who's Fiala?
Not Fiala. Haula.
Yeah. I like Haula. Haula's one of those guys like Hal's boy Noshik. He can play wing, he can play center, he can play either side, and I just like.
Any talks on Lazar?
No, he's one I really want to come back, but I don't think he's gonna. I think his play at the end of the year and in the playoffs, and I put this in one of my blogs, I think he played himself out of Boston, unfortunately, because he's going to command too much money on the open market, and the Bruins don't have the room.
Yeah.
I mean, if they move some guys, but I like Curtis Lazar a lot.
This is like the first time that the Rangers have had free agents where I just don't really give a shit if they come back or not. If that makes sense. Like if Strom comes back, whatever. If Cobb comes back, whatever. Oh, there was a report that what's up?
I feel that way about Foligno.
Yeah, but you have Lazar. Like you want Lazar to come back.
Yeah.
There was actually one other report that I guess Chris Drury was vocally pissed off at the way Panarin played in playoffs. That was like, I think it's a rumor.
So he was not injured. Nothing came out of an injury from him?
I think so. But nothing really came out with injuries. Like Gallant, the closest thing we got is Gallant said that we had some players that were injured, and you guys know who they are.
The other thing with Panarin, which I'll give him a pass right now, is who knows what his family situation is in Russia and with everything going on.
And he scored the overtime winner against the fucking Penguins.
Yeah.
And he was still almost a point per game. He wasn't that guy that we needed. And if he was, that would have helped big time. And that kind of sounds super familiar with the Rangers getting these guys that are supposed to be sick and not fucking showing up in the playoffs. But Rick Little Dick Nash. But yeah, we'll see. Oh, I like that the NHL does this every once in a while where they do a redraft and they like put it up on Instagram and shit. Yeah. Rick Nash going number 2 and Duncan Keith going number 1. Did you agree with that?
Oh, I would have chosen Duncan Keith over Rick Nash. Sure. I don't know about Rick Nash at number 2. Might have been the question, right?
I think so too. It was
Duncan Keith went like 166 or something, and he's still playing.
Wasn't he voted like top 100 NHL players? Did I make that up?
He might have been. I can't think of Rick Nash anymore without thinking of Ryan Lindgren and how much better he would look in black and gold. That guy.
The redraft went Duncan Keith, Rick Nash, Cam Ward, Alex Steen, Jay Bomeister, Yuri Hudler, Franz Nielsen, Kyrie Lettinen, Alex Semin, and Valtteri Filppula.
Still think it's high for Nash.
Yeah. Yeah, anything for beer league?
No, not really. We're playing, but it's summer league. It doesn't mean shit. You know what I mean? It's just a bunch of grab ass. There's some college kids out there. It's just like, ugh, what are you doing?
I would like to make my commitment to the EC Mayhem League in Schenectady. That's who I'm signing with in this fall and winter. I'm pumped for that league. They do they do a fantasy draft where like people get drafted, so the teams are pretty easy or pretty even, and all your games are on Sunday. So I'm pumped about that. You never have to worry about it. Stanley Cup Finals. You want to take it away, and I'll just kind of throw in some whatever I got there. Yeah.
So for those that don't know that are living under a rock, Colorado took it in 6 for their 3rd cup in franchise history. They beat the Wicked Witch of the Southeast, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Per Bill Daly, the Stanley Cup will not be going to Russia or Belarus for any players stay with the cup due to the ongoing Russian invasion of Ukraine, which I thought good for them. It's a strong statement, and typically commissioners of leagues don't make a strong statement. So, a little kudos there. Bill Daly versus Gary Bettman. So you didn't watch. Bill Daly got cheered when he came out with the cup. The only booze when he said, he goes, Commissioner Bettman couldn't be here tonight due to COVID, and the place booed as soon as they said Bettman's name. And Bill Daly was clearly excited about giving the cup, and you could tell he's a hockey guy, and it's so refreshing to see a fan of the sport in that commissioner's spot, if that makes sense.
And isn't he leaving?
Who?
Bill Daly.
Oh, he might be. Probably, because he's so good.
No. I thought they were like replacing him. Well, who is Bill Daly?
I don't know. He's the second in command. I forget what they call it.
So he's not the NHLPA guy?
No.
Who's the NHLPA guy?
Oh, fuck. If you had asked me, I would have got it, but I can't tell you right now. All right. So here's some stuff from the finals. NHL players with 90 points in the span of 3 postseasons. Gretzky, Donald Ferry, yeah. Gretzky, Mario, and Kucherov. Players with 25 or more points in 3 consecutive postseasons. Gretzky, Bossy, Trottier, and now Kucherov. As much as I hate him, he can play.
Yeah.
Kucherov had 44 multi-point games in the playoffs, trailing only Crosby with 67 and Malkin 53 for the most by active players.
Malkin, another fucking center that the Rangers are connected to.
You don't want him at this point.
Maybe with him and Panarin, I don't know if he doesn't sign for that long and it's not that expensive. Maybe he's won cups.
That's true. Cale Makar became the second D to have a shorthanded goal and a power play goal in the same game during Game 2 since Glenn Wesley did it in the 88 suspended game versus Edmonton. It's amazing to me that took so long for that to happen.
Yeah.
It's a weird stat. Nichushkin, prior to this postseason, had 42 playoff games. He went 4-5-9. During this run this postseason in 20 games, he went 9-6-15, and that was after he cooled off because he was white hot.
Dude, he was the playoffs. He was a forechecking force. Like they kept showing just like his forechecks throughout the course of the playoffs. He was all over the puck. That guy is he free? I think he's a free agent. I think he played himself out of Colorado.
He's gonna get the bag. Makar became the third defenseman to win the Norris and the Conn Smythe in the same season. Bobby Orr did it twice, and Nicholas did it once. Makar also became the first ever player to win the following 5 awards: the Hobey Baker, the Calder, the Norris, the Conn Smythe, and the Stanley Cup. And he's not 24 until late October. So we were talking at work about this, and this was asked to me at work. Is Cale Makar a Hall of Famer right now if he walked away from the game?
Probably.
He is, dude. He is.
Probably, yeah.
If he quit right now, he's a Hall of Famer. Because of those 5 awards. No one's ever done it. And the way he plays defense and the way he plays offense, good Lord. It's going to be Bobby Orr and Cale Makar. That's how they're going to talk about it.
If his body holds up, he'll go down as, yeah.
He hits like a truck when he wants to.
Yeah.
Vasilevsky allowed 3 first-period goals in the finals in back-to-back games for the first time ever in his career, which is an unbelievable stat to me.
He was fucking pissed, dude.
Oh, afterwards, yeah. We'll talk about that. Messier, after the Game 2 Colorado 7-0 win, quote, "That was the most dominant, best team game performance I've ever seen in my lifetime. It's a pretty strong statement. But then they went out and lost 6-2 the next night. Avs defenseman Jack Johnson, who we can all root for with what this guy's gone through in his career. He earned his degree from the University of Michigan. After being drafted 3rd overall, he spent 2 more years in school due to his own doubts about being an everyday NHL player. He promised his college coach, Red Berenson, that he would finish when he left school in 2007. Over the years, he used off-season downtime to take courses with some help from the pandemic. He finished after 18 years. He said that statistics was the hardest course he took, hands down.
That's cool because you don't have to do that, and he did it.
Right, exactly. Well, he made the promise, right? You got to stand by it. So, speaking of statistics, here's a good Corey Perry stat. He became the first player in NHL history to score in the Stanley Cup Finals with 4 different teams. Here's a bad Corey Perry stat. He became the first player in NHL history to lose the Stanley Cup Final in 3 consecutive years with 3 different teams. I would take Corey Perry on the Bruins in a flash. I love Corey Perry. Colorado head coach Jared Bednar became the first head coach to win the ECHL, AHL, and NHL championships. He spent parts of 9 seasons in the ECHL, 443 games played, AHL, and the IHL, where he did 148 games, before working his way up the coaching ladder. He coached 7 years in the ECHL, 5 as assistant, 2 as a head coach before making the jump to the A. He was in the A for another 7 years before being thrust into the head coach in position in the NHL in 2016 when Patrick Waugh walked away from the gig prior to the season. Remember when Waugh quit?
Yeah, he's got to be one of, like, tenured-wise, he's got to be with one team.
One of the longest with one team. Yeah. Cassidy was up there, but then they turfed him. Nazem Kadri had the shirt of the parade. It shows him scoring his overtime goal with the caption down below that says "Too many men," because there was all kinds of whining from Tampa Bay. Proceeds from the shirt are going to his foundation, which focuses on getting mental health for people that need it and can't afford it. He also became the first Muslim player to win the Stanley Cup in NHL history.
I would consider him the comeback player of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. Not from, well, the thumb injury in the playoffs, but reputation for everything else. So Tampa Bay did this pretty cool thing. I don't know if you saw this. They used tracking technology at their watch parties at Amalie Arena to show the game on the ice. They had the game up on the Jumbotron of live gameplay. Yep. And then on the ice, they projected video game-like figures. The game was shown on the jumbo. And they were human-sized figures, and they had the puck tracking like the glow puck, so everybody could watch it, which made it for a pretty fun time, I would say. Yeah. Colorado had a season, 72 wins, regular and postseason, tied for the most in NHL history, 9 playoff road wins, which is the second most in NHL history, and 10 postseason comeback wins, tied for the most in NHL history. Speaking of Joe Sakic earlier, he becomes the 3rd person in NHL history to win the Cup as a player and as a GM, and more importantly, he stuck with Bednar during his first season when the Avs went 22-56 and finished dead last in the NHL. A lot of GMs, I think, would have kicked him out right there.
Yeah,
and I think he deserves some credit for that. Speaking of deserving credit, this guy, talk about with a horseshoe up his rear end. Owner Stan Kroenke adds to his trophy room as the Stanley Cup winning owner that just came off winning the Super Bowl with the Rams and the NLL National Lacrosse League Championship with the Colorado Mammoth.
I would love to interview that guy. Like, that guy would be super interesting.
Supposedly, he's like a real regular dude, is what they say about him.
It'd be cool the stories, how he got involved, all that shit. I feel like that'd be cool.
The Denver area drank the bars and restaurant dry during the finals. Per Eric Johnson, he and Landeskog and Landeskog's wife were trying to line up a team party, and they had a very difficult time finding a venue that had alcohol left, which is hats off to Denver. And then Colorado, we said about the team breakup day. Colorado issued a player injury update, as many teams do after the season. The Avs listed all players as hungover, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
And then here's some quotes. After the game, McKinnon on Crosby, "I've been the drunkest at his Stanley Cup party, so he better be the drunkest at mine." Eric Johnson, when he skated off the ice in Tampa, touched it as a kid. It's no jinx. Landeskog on what teams in the copycat NHL can do to be like Colorado. Go find yourself a Cale Makar. Landeskog also said that he grew up with a picture on his wall of a Stanley Cup team, the Colorado Avalanche of 2001. My dream was one day to be that picture when we did it. Pat Maroon, after losing the cup at home in Amalie Arena, just because we had home ice doesn't mean shit. Understatement of the year, Pat. Nazem Kadri, after his best quote of the whole thing. Nazem Kadri, after his turn hoisting the cup. For everyone that thought I was a liability in the playoffs, you can kiss my ass.
I feel like that was a direct shot at us.
Yeah, it might have been. There was one other thing too. Andrew Cogliano, he got a lot of love from all the players. He's been there a short time, but he had like an 11-year career up to now. And apparently, when they were interviewing McKinnon afterwards, he was like 87, because I guess they're both really tight with Crosby. The night before the clinching game, McKinnon's hotel room number was, I think he said 1787, and he saw the 87 and he goes, "It's ours," because he just had that vibe. So this reminded me when we had our daughter, right? My wife she got rushed to the hospital. She had complications, and I was coming from, I think I was down the Cape, and I came bombing up to hospital. I walked in, and the room number was 1487. Now, a very good friend of mine who I like to play with, we play forward together, we play D together. He wears 14, I wear 28, and I saw his 14. He's a huge Sid fan. I'm a Sid fan, and I saw the 1487. I walked in. I just made a mental note. I didn't say anything, and I get there. My wife was okay and everything. And I go, "Oh, I'm so glad you got a private room and everything." She goes, "You see the number?" She goes, "Isn't 87 your boy?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So it was a nice little thing there. So
That's fucking
there you have it. So there you go.
But,
there's your Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah. Congrats to Colorado.
Yep.
Rangers would have took you in 4. We got two more segments. Dom Moore, Zeros and Zeros.
Hey fans, this is Dominic Moore. I'm just going to take you guys through a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff here.
What's your goldfish thing? You said to remind you.
All right, Zero of the week. I put together like this ladder shelf, and it's at the, like when you walk into my place, it's like the first thing that you see. So I'm trying to figure out what to put on the shelf, right? So on the top one, I'm like, I'm going to get a fishbowl and put a fucking goldfish in it. I'm going to get 2 goldfish. I'm going to name one Brooks, one Done. So I go to Benson's Pet Center, and they have all these fish. I'm talking to the guy, and he's like, "Well, you're going to want to bait a fish if it's a fishbowl." And I was like, "You don't understand. Like, I don't want to bait a fish. I want a goldfish that you want at a carnival." And he's like, "All these fish get to be big. Like, you should go check out PetSmart." I'm like, "Whatever." Go to PetSmart, walk in, get my fishbowl, everything I need. Go to the guy. I'm like, "Hey, man, you know a lot about fish?" He's like, because he's by the fish place. Like, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right, well, I need 2 goldfish." And he looks at my fishbowl and he goes, "I think you should get a betta fish." And I'm like, "No, man, I just want like a couple goldfish." And he's like, "But the betta fish are good for a fishbowl." I'm like, "I don't think you understand what I'm saying. I just want a fish that you went at a carnival that normally."
Why is no one allowing you to have a goldfish?
I'm like, "I want a fish that you went at a carnival that they put in a fucking plastic bag. That's all I want." And he's like, "Yeah, the betta fish are the only ones that I can really that go well with a fishbowl. That's about all I can do for you."
Wait. If you had a rectangular tank, would he have given you goldfish? Was it the shape of the tank?
Yes. The tank was too small.
Oh, okay.
It's a fucking goldfish, Brownie. In what world can I not get a goldfish and put it in whatever the fuck I want to put it in? That was
Well,
insane.
I guess you're gonna have to go to the fair to win a goldfish.
Or I'm just gonna get the bowl. Out of spite, I might just fucking fill up a shoe and put the fucking goldfish in the shoe. Like, I'm
that's
so
not fair to the
fucking
goldfish.
It's a fish, Brownie. It is.
Don't take it out in the goldfish, man.
Fish. I couldn't believe it, dude. I almost had an episode. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? All I want is 2 goldfish. Like, what? So my Zero of the week are the people who believe goldfish have fucking rights.
Well, it's funny you say that because so out back behind our house there's that pond, you know, where the geese are and stuff, and it connects to the mill pond in downtown. It's like a feeder stream, I guess, or whatever. But in the mill pond, people have been releasing koi that are too big for their yards. They're just dumping them in the mill pond, and people are up in arms about it. I guess it's a big thing. They're an invasive species. Yeah,
but
so
if I ever come up to visit, I'm bringing my fucking fishing pole, and we're gonna tag those.
I think if it's a koi pond, if it's a koi fish, I think you just walk over and grab it. It's like hunting cows. I think.
No, I'm gonna fucking put it right there.
Well, my buddy goes fishing in that pond all the time. He's like, I kill it, and I'm like, are you catching koi? He's like, what's koi? I'm like, big sunfish. He's like, I don't think so. I'm like, this idiot, my buddy is catching koi. So there you go.
Blew my fucking mind, dude. And then the hero of the week, I guess just the bachelor party coming up. That's gonna be fun. So
Oh, that should be good.
That's mine.
I have multiple. Should I do here? You know what? I'm gonna do zeros first. Let's end it on a plus, right? So first is, did you see this fucking chooch, this Hardo Denver bicycle cop during the parade? You see this guy?
Oh yeah, I did.
He didn't know who Bo Byram was. And instead of going over in a parade when everybody's celebrating and been like, hey man, you can't be here, he pedals over on his bike and grabs Byram and he's like, you can't be here. Like just a total hardo. I was like, dude. And then Denver police tried to save it by issuing a statement. They wrote, the officer, parade route defenseman, thought a fan had come over the boards and into his defensive zone. It was quickly determined he was a player and not offside. Fuck all the way off, Denver, and your fucking cop. If he wasn't a douche to start, this wouldn't have been a story. So there you go.
The only thing I have for that is, in today's world, I think you kind of have to be as super vigilant as possible. That would be my only thing.
It's a guy with beers and a Colorado shirt. All he had to do was walk over and be like, hey,
everybody there had beers and Colorado shirts on. And
I know.
But if you look at Bowen Byram, you're not thinking
a different job.
Yeah, but you're not thinking Bowen Byram's making millions of dollars playing hockey. You look at the kid; he looks like a regular kid. That's the coolest thing about hockey players, by the way. The coolest thing about hockey players is they can look like pretty much fucking everybody.
Oh, no, I disagree with that one completely. So, and while we're on my little rant of fuck people, fuck Tampa Bay Lightning and the fucking Karens that they are. Good Christ, this team. All they do is piss and moan. Pat Maroon, I don't know how he didn't get a 5-minute major. He skated down after the play, after the goal scored, which I think might have been the game winner. He chopped Eric Johnson on the leg. Eric Johnson luckily lifted his foot, so it got mostly his boot. And meanwhile, if fucking Pat Maroon had put his head down and skated hard back, he might have had a chance to play. But instead, he glided the whole way back. And then fucking Kucherov, who breaks his stick and just has a complete hissy fit on the bench, just grab it on the stick.
Absolute meltdown.
There's 25 seconds left. You're going to throw your glove? What good does that do, you fucking donkey?
That was
Lord.
wild.
And John Cooper complaining. Fucking everybody talks about how smart he is and all this. Great. That's wonderful. But you're a fucking whiny cunt. I'm sorry. Jeez, I fucking can't stand that team. All right. So I got it out of my system. I feel much better.
All right. Good.
All right. So here come the heroes. So Joey Votto, Cincinnati Reds guy. I know a lot of baseball. He made this TikTok with a young girl. I thought it was great. During the game, he did it. And then he walked up. There was some little kid behind home plate. He gave him like the double fist bumps and then hit a home run and went right back to the kid for the fist bumps again. So Joey Votto out there pleasing the people. Then there's this guy. Yeah. Then there's this guy, Sadio Mane. He's a Senegalese soccer star. I'm going to read this to you. He earns approximately $10.2 million annually. He, after some fans were flabbergasted, they saw him carrying a cracked iPhone 11. And this was his response. Why would I want 10 Ferraris, 20 diamond watches, and 2 jet planes? I starved as a kid. I worked in the fields. I played barefoot. I didn't go to school. Now I can help people. I prefer to build schools and give poor people food or clothing. I've built schools in a stadium, provide clothes, shoes, and food for people in extreme poverty. In addition, I give 70 euros per month to every person from a very poor Senegalese region in order to contribute to their family economy. I do not need to display luxury cars, luxury homes, trips, and even planes. I prefer that my people receive some of what life has given me. Hell yeah. What a guy.
I like that.
Little Bo Bennett vibes there.
Yeah, good outlook, right?
So there you go. There's my heroes and zeros.
We got one more segment. 3 stars.
All right, Jim and Mike, thanks very kindly. A nice weekend for you. As always, our 3-star selectors are stars of the hockey scene wherever we go on Rogers Hometown Hockey.
3 stars that I'm not prepared for.
I am not at all, because I thought it was superstitions, and it's not. So,
superstitions, that was like 2 weeks ago.
I know. Stupid games you play with buddies or family in honor of Josh Allen and his D's nuts obsession. Brownie, I might strike out here.
You got to think of at least one. You must do something.
All right, Stu. All right, keep going.
All right, I got one.
Okay, I have one.
All right, go ahead.
It's probably going to be my only one. Back in college, we used to play this thing called No Bones. And what you would do, no bones.
Okay.
And what you would do is you would go tag somebody and you'd say no bones. And if you were about to get tagged and you went like this, it didn't count. But if you got tagged with no bones, you had to literally pretend like you had no bones. So this became like cafeteria, people spilling shit fucking everywhere at parties. Like
Jeez,
it was
fall, like collapse, like a bag
literally
of
like you have no bones. Like you look and be like, motherfucker, and then
That's a
just
good game.
fall to the ground. No bones. That was a game that got a little rowdy.
That's a good game.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, my dad, to keep us occupied on car trips, he used to, if you saw a police car, you go police, and it was 1 point. And if you thought you saw a police car and it wasn't, it was -1 point.
Okay.
And we had to switch the game. We had to switch the game to Corvettes when we got a little older, because there was one time like 2 cops pulled up right next to us. We were eating ice cream or something. I don't remember this, but my dad tells the story. And all 3 of us started screaming police, and the cops came over and like, what's going on here? Like we were fucking lookouts. So we changed it to Corvettes after that. We still play it sometimes. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. I don't think I have any like.
Oh, have you ever played the game like if you make the this symbol?
Oh yeah. If you get punched,
and if you hold it below your waist, you get punched, right?
Yeah.
Punch buggies and stuff.
The penis game, like
looking at the brain.
That's probably
tabletop. You ever do the tabletop?
Every once in a while we would do that.
Oh, I got one. We did this one for a couple of summers working when I had the kids I coach working for me painting houses. So there's this game. There's a game that the Impractical Jokers, I guess, play, and we heard about it, so we started doing it. If I say to you, like, "Oh, you know who I'm with?" If you say the word "who," if I can get you to say "who," the answer is Dave Thomas, founder of Wendy's, and then I get the point. And the game goes on for like ever. It resets once a year.
There was one. It's the song where it goes thunder, feel the thunder, lightning and the thunder. You know that song?
I think so.
Do you know who sings it?
No idea.
Okay, so Imagine Dragons sings that song.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So if you were to be like, oh, it's Imagine Dragons, then I'd be like, Imagine dragging these balls on your forehead. That's something that I recently started doing. It's kind of like a D's Nuts kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that'd
be funny. Imagine Dragons have been on Impractical Jokers. So I feel like we just tied it all together.
I think we ended on that. But thank you guys for tuning in. Brown, do you have anything else for the people at home?
As always, it's funny. Facebook puts up your memories on this day.
Yeah.
So I had a whole list of like 15 or something, or however long I've had Facebook, of every July 1st, me wishing Jerome McGinley a happy birthday, because I put it up as a post. So I had, and I showed it to Lori, and my wife. She's like, "You're such a loser." So I wished him a happy birthday. I said, somewhere on this giant spitting marble, there's a glorious bastard walking among us. God bless you, Jerome McGinley, and happy birthday. So I'll stick by that as my sign off.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We'll keep cranking out podcasts. We'll figure out we're gonna get some guests on.
Interviews. Yep.
Yeah. So we appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will talk to you when we talk to you.
Thank you.